Hey friends, welcome back to Art and Alchemy. Thank you for joining me in today's planning session. In today's video, we'll set our bullet journals up for April. Do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you like my content. Now without further ado, let's get started. We'll start by reviewing the previous month as usual. The boho theme I chose for March will remain my favorite for a while. If you haven't watched my March bullet journal setup yet, I'll link it in the description box below for you guys. I have written some prompts like gratitude, learnings, progress, check-in, highlights, etc. and these have been helping me a lot with the reflection process. Now let's move on to the next segment of this video. I'm going to use a new bullet journal for this month, and that's because I ran out of pages in my old one. I'm actually using the exact same journal as the previous one. I already set up some spreads in the beginning, like the index and future log. Since the end of March marks the beginning of a new quarter, I'm going to review what my first quarter was like in terms of personal growth and progress. If you watched my 2023 bullet journal setup video, I talked about these prompt cards that I created in order to help with reflections on daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. Well, it's now time for a quarterly review. I also made a free printable available for you guys, which you can cut down to A6 size like so, and these fit perfectly in your journal pocket. Check out the description box to download it. For the quarterly review, we have prompts like key highlights, progress tracker for your goals, things that worked and those that didn't, areas you improved in, and things you want to improve for next quarter. And then we also have key takeaways, setbacks or challenges faced, and the lessons you learned from them. On the right, I have a page to work on my goals for the upcoming quarter. Now that all of this is out of the way, let's quickly get started with April spreads. I'm using Tombow brush pens in these 4 shades for this theme, along with a couple of fine liners. All the supplies used in this video will be linked below in the description box as usual. Do check that out if you're interested. This month's theme is dedicated to all coffee lovers. I'm really excited for this theme because coffee is not just a beverage but an emotion in itself, right? To make this theme interesting, I'm going to doodle different forms of coffee all over the cover page. The past couple of months have been all over the place for me since nothing went as planned, but I have a good feeling about April and hopefully it's going to be great. The coffee theme definitely helps build up the excitement for April along with my new journal. I do understand that this is really early to be moving into a new bullet journal, which might not be the case with everyone since most people move into a new one after 6 months. The reason I ran out of pages so quickly is that this year I started using Dutch doors for almost all of my weekly layouts. I also tend to use my bullet journal quite extensively. I sometimes plan projects, create packing lists, and do brain dumps, etc. And these are some of the spreads that I do not post on any social media because they're very basic and also personal. Well, I'm not complaining because I get to experience a fresh start right at the beginning of a new quarter. I'm super happy about it. Now that we're done doodling, let's spill a little more coffee on the cover page. For the font this month, I decided to go back to basics with some brush lettering because I haven't done this in a very long time. I'm creating an ombre lettering for the title. I was going to use a dark brown brush pen for the ombre, but I was scared that it might bleed. So I brought in a brown Prismacolor pencil for the blending. To lift the font off the page a little, I added shadow with a grey brush pen. I also added a black border around it with a fine liner. I finally added some highlights with a white paint marker to make the lettering look like it's written with coffee. I hope that made sense. On the left side, I'm adding a quote that says, "Coffee in one hand, confidence in the other." I'm now adding some washi tapes I got from Stationery Pal. I love these grid ones a lot. Links to all these tapes are mentioned below in the description box. You can use the discount code SOUMYA15 to get 15% off on your purchase with Stationery Pal. Moving on, we have our calendar spread. I first started off with the grid for the calendar. I really would have preferred the look of freehand grids and lines for this theme, but I wasn't feeling confident enough doing it on camera. The times when I don't have a camera hanging on my head, I hunch over the notebook and work on details as closely as possible. That's why I'm using a ruler here, otherwise I think freehand grids and boxes will definitely go well with this theme. I then added the numbers on the bottom corner so they stay out of the way when I write in these boxes. I also have a section for notes on the right. I'm now working on my title, which is in the same style as the cover page. I start with the base color, then add the ombre, shadow, black outline, and finally the highlights. Now let's quickly finish the doodles. I then added some washi tape and a drop shadow for the calendar. The top and bottom looked a little empty to me, so I added 2 stripes of color to frame the spread. That's it for the calendar. Next up, we have our monthly planning spread. Here's where I plan all the tasks and goals for the month. I started with the titles here, then followed by the doodles. On the left, I have my task dump page where I brain dump all the tasks that come to my mind. At this point, I look for any open tasks from the previous month and transfer them over. I have a table here with all the tasks in the center. On the left, I have a column where I can sort these out based on their urgency and importance. On the right, I have week numbers where I can assign the tasks for each week. The right page is for my plans for the month. The first section is for my top 3 goals. Then I have my monthly focus where I focus on certain things or qualities each month, for example, creating balance in my routine or managing my time more efficiently, etc. The next 2 sections are for the books I want to read and skills I want to learn this month. Moving on, we have our tracker spread. This time I wanted to accommodate both my habit and sleep trackers on the same page, so I rotated my notebook this way to fit them both perfectly in a single page. Once I finished working on the title and the doodles, I went ahead with the trackers. On the top, I have my sleep tracker with days on the top bar and hours from 10 PM to 9 AM on the left bar. Below the sleep tracker, I have my habit tracker where I'm going to track my habits this month. The right page is for my gratitude log. You'll see that I rotate my notebook once again, mainly because I wanted to keep the position of the title consistent on both pages. I'm finishing the spread off with a border, doodles, and some washi tapes. We're now finally setting up our weekly spread here. The first thing I'm doing here is cutting the Dutch door. I've been using Dutch doors for almost all my weeklies simply because they grant a lot of extra space where I write down my tasks and review the week. I added the title Week 1 along the top edge and a doodle on the left. There's a section for all my tasks on the right. As for the daily entries, I added tiny doodles and wrote the numbers on top of it. To define the Dutch door a little better, I added some washi tape along its edge and rounded the top corner using my corner punch. I basically repeat the same steps for the rest of the days, leaving the last column for my weekly review. Lastly, I added the brown stripe on the top to frame the spread. That finishes our April setup, which means it's now time for the flip through. I love how cute these spreads look. I'm so happy to be back with the brush lettering because I definitely miss doing that. I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I had fun creating it for you guys. If you recreate this theme, you can tag me on Instagram, the link to which is in the description box. Don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. Thank you so much for watching guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.